Hey, so before we jump into this episode, I want to give you some context. This conversation was not planned. It was raw and it was real. I had just returned from Jamaica and something happened that honestly shook me. I got triggered in a way I didn't expect. And it forced me to ask a question. I know so many of you are asking silently, do triggers ever end? So in this conversation, you're going to hear us talk about a lot. Triggers, relationships, the body, coping, even things we didn't expect to unpack. But I want you to listen for this one truth. Triggers don't mean you're broken. They mean there's still something to be processed. So stay with us because somewhere in this conversation, you're going to find yourself. Welcome to the Awaken to Purpose podcast, a podcast by survivors for survivors of childhood sexual trauma and chronic illness warriors. Here, we get honest about healing, transformation, and awakening to our God-given purpose. Hi, I'm Larissa, mother, author, nonprofit founder, survivor empowerment coach, and your host. Around here, we shift mindsets, change the narrative, and create a new norm from a faith-filled lens. So let me ask you, have you ever wished someone would speak more openly about the complexities of healing? Ever longed for a space that sees you without judgment or performance? You are not alone. This podcast is anchored in Revelations 12:11 and Romans 12:2. We're breaking silence, reassigning shame, and healing forward. Join me. Let's journey to free and awaken to purpose together. Hey, welcome back. Another episode of the Awaken to Purpose podcast. And this segment, Speak to Heal.
Hey, everybody.
Miss Regina and myself, we are just going to jump right back into the flow of things. I have been gone for a little because I went to Jamaica for a couple funerals. And today we're not going to have much of a scripted pod. We're just going to be vibing today.
I love it, yeah.
Because in real time, I'm dealing with some things and I've been trying to process. And I think this is a time for me to just fill Miss Regina in on what I've been dealing with for the past week and a half. So my uncle passed, my grandaunt, and I went home to Jamaica for these funerals. And this wasn't new to me because I've gone back there a few times. What was new though is that I got triggered a couple times while on the trip.
Okay.
And so it's bringing me now to this place where I want to talk with Miss Regina, and this is you putting on your clinician hat, right? Because one of the things I think we don't talk enough about is that on this healing journey, triggers will continue to come up, right? We hear so much in the space that you're healed or you're healing, but it's almost as if there's a deadline date attached.
Yeah, and there is.
There's an end date. And I'm realizing in real time that is not so. So my first question for you, Miss Regina, can you remember how long have you been in therapy?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, almost 50 years. Off and on. Not consistently, but I remember I started when I was 25 because my daughter was 1. And that was important to me. I wanted to work on myself, as a mother. And, but yeah. So, but it's also, to me, that's like asking, how long have you had a doctor?
Right.
The answer should be since you were born, because you need to deal with your physical health. And so you need to deal with your mental health.
Yeah. And I've had periods where I've always been once a week. Yeah. And I don't know why. I never thought about the fact that I could go more times until my therapist actually suggested to me that there are times when I'm in real breakdown and she's like, hey, check my schedule. If there's another day you would like to come in. And I'm happy that we went there right off the bat because I want to really slow down and speak on that. Because so many of us, first of all, we don't believe in therapy, especially in the Black community. It's just now that it's getting to be a little bit more normalized. And you said something that was key earlier, that literally everyone has gone through some level of trauma. And I personally think it's a beautiful thing to really have a therapist to be able to help you to process. And as she just said, it doesn't have to be where you're consistently doing this. I know people that have taken breaks in between where they felt like they were good, right? And they stopped. And that's okay. That is really okay. Depends on what you need in whatever season or moments that you're in. And so this for me now brings up what's happening is that I have been in therapy for over 3 years, and this is my third therapist, and she's a godsend. I'm loving my sessions with her. The other two didn't work out as much, but the point is, I too thought that there's a period where you get to a certain point and certain things don't trigger you, right? And so to my amazement, when I went back home, and I'll give you context for that, is I had to go to my grandmother's house because my uncle was still living there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've gone there several times over the years since I started speaking publicly. But this time around, I don't know if it was because there were so many other things going on. My grandaunt's death, one of my most beloved cousin was in breakdown, all of these things. But I had to go use the restroom at her house.
Okay.
And the moment I closed the door, I walked into the bathroom and I closed the door, I had a vivid flashback. Because there was an incident at some point in my childhood that her husband, whatever happened in that bathroom. And so I started going through the motions of, chest tightening, not breathing, and it's just, I'm literally seeing, and I could literally feel like the entire place. I'm feeling him, I'm seeing all of this happen. And that hasn't happened in a long time. So when I found myself in that situation and I was talking to myself, Larissa, no, this is just a figment of your imagination. You're okay. This is not happening. But it felt so real in the moment, to the point where I had to cut my pee short.
Okay.
Hightail it out of there. I'd rather go
out.
I'm out of there. But the reality is, a series of other things happened. And so I've been in that headspace of triggers do happen all along your journey. What do you do in those moments when, even in this case where I've been in therapy, I know I have some tools, I was able to talk myself down after a while, but in that moment when it's happening and it was completely unexpected, what do you do?
I mean, kind of for me, the obvious is use the tools you have. Breathe. If you've got someone to reach out to, do that.
I didn't in the moment.
And I'm fine with fantasy. Okay? You can put a pretend perfect person right there. And talk to them out loud or in your head. But what's comforting? You can imagine comforting happy times there. I also think, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. If my life is this big, let's say that's 10 centimeters. Over the years as I've done the work, sexual abuse and domestic violence and all that stuff has gone from taking up 10 centimeters to now it probably takes about 1. Every once in a while something will bum it out, but I don't think about it most of the time. Even when, so this is interesting to me, because I've heard people say, in terms of trauma and hard stuff, and even the, environmental stuff like today's political environment and all that stuff. Look, but don't stare. Don't spend most of your thinking time thinking about trauma, thinking about abuse. And that was true for me even for the 15 years where I managed a clinic for children who'd been sexually abused. I had to get some distance from it. I didn't do so much direct services. Because if you think about it all the time, it will take up all of your time. And I think you'll be even more likely to be triggered. So you have to ask yourself, what else am I going to do? What else am I going to write about? What else am I going to sing about? What else am I going to pray about? What other work am I going to do? What fun am I going to have? Yeah, you can't do it all the time because it'll eat you up.
It will. It definitely will. And I think that was what threw me for a loop, because I hadn't been in that headspace for so long.
Yeah.
And just finding myself there and still trying to figure out really if there was one moment, or it was a series of things that caused me to have that flashback. And however, can you recall the last time you were triggered by something as...
It's so interesting when you said that. No, and that doesn't mean I might have been triggered and just denied it.
Right.
But I think the last time I was kind of triggered in that way was back in the home I grew up in. The people, places, and things. And I haven't been in that home in probably about 30 years because it was closed down like 15 or more years ago. My mother moved out of that house. We sold the house and all that other stuff. So that house is no more.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't be triggered every time I went to it.
Right.
But especially what would happen for me is if it is in the middle of the night, especially after 2 a.m., if there was a reason for me to go downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
in the dark. I would always think that my father was about to, because he worked in a bar, he'd close the bar and he'd come home like 2:33 in the morning. That was, the scary time for me. I always tried to make sure I was in bed at that time, but if I needed to go downstairs or be going up or down the stairs at that time, that was a dangerous, triggering time, just a time to be afraid. And then even when I wasn't living there or visiting there, that time, that time is no longer scary for me. But for the longest time, if I would wake up around that time, and it's the time I expect them to come back.
You do find that, because prior to me getting to where I am now, where I'm able to now sleep through the nights, well, other things are keeping me up, but not that. It was the same thing. I for years, and there's a word for that. Please refresh my memory, but there's a word for that active memory that you're living through repeatedly, night after night. That's a part of the trauma when you don't try to heal from it. Right. So I would have those visceral moments at a certain time of night, even in my adult years, even without going back to the childhood home, where at night, I wasn't able to sleep through the night. It's one of the reasons, even now, this is a real thing, but I sleep very lightly. Right? Because it's like you're always expecting someone or feeling like there's a presence. So, but I remember prior to me getting to the place now where I don't have those flashbacks, it was a real thing. I would react at those times of the mornings. And it's funny that you said that, because a memory that's coming up for me, that's where the 2 in Journey to Free comes from, and the 2 in Awaken to Purpose. It's to signify my oldest, Jaden. He was 2 years old, and 2 o'clock in the morning, one morning, I was bawling my eyes out, thought he was fast asleep. I had already put him to bed, and he woke up, and I was just having a meltdown because I had, just memories, flashbacks. And all I remember was his tiny little hands touching my face, and he's saying, "It's okay, mommy, it's okay, it's okay." And the fact of he was 2 at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so, that's where it came from. But that's a very real thing for a lot of survivors when they have not gotten to the point where they have moved beyond those real visceral things happen in that moment. And with that, is there, besides therapy, or was it just therapy, what helped you to move beyond feeling those things?
Okay, so once again, writing and fantasy, and the combination of the two. So outside of my bedroom, this is kind of like fantasy or whatever, just making it work for me. Outside of my, right outside of my bedroom in the hall, there are 3 photographs. One is the 1968 Olympics, where the 3 black athletes are standing with their fist raised. And then under that is a picture of Black Panthers, all men, marching. And underneath that is a picture of Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali.
And
And these are the men that guard my doorway.
I was
They're
just
the
going to
men that
ask,
keep
what's
my
the
father out.
the
They keep my father out. They keep the
Wow.
rapists out. They keep the abusers out. You know what I mean? So I just made up some fathers and uncles and brothers.
Yeah.
That's the big thing there. Not to, Harriet Tubman, Angela Davis, and are in the hallway, and Alice Walker are in the hallway too on the opposite wall. So I've just got the warriors in the hallway.
It's just
They're strength. They're warriors.
Yeah.
They're going to kill anything that's trying to hurt me. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But what I'm also hearing is the fact that for so many of us, the things that we have to survive, that we have to come up with, that it keeps us safe in these moments. And do you care to share your age?
Oh, sure. I'm 72.
She's 72 years old. And these images
in some ways,
are
I feel
still.
like I'm just waking up.
Oh, talk about that.
I'm just kidding. Because
Talk
I'm like,
about
I'm
that.
so happy now. I'm not worried about stuff. I'm not stressed
Yeah.
out. I just like, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish the body would do what it used to do, but I'll take it even as a trade-off, like, because these are the good times.
Because you're home in your body now. Yeah.
I mean, I still don't love being in my body, so there's still work to do.
Yeah.
I still, if I could have my way, I would be pure spirit, but I'm much more at home with my body and accepting of being in a body and not resenting being in a body.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming my body for the abuse anymore. It's not my body's fault.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
I used to think, that it was my body's fault.
How did you come to that realization? And the reason why I brought up her age, I was just trying to say these images are still very much present in her hallway right now as we
part
speak.
Of me thinks,
Yeah.
you should have had that, down pat by whatever, 45 or what, no, whatever, you don't know.
Yeah, it's still keeping her safe. So.
What was the question you just asked me?
Child. How did you, I think I asked, how did you get to this place of resolving? Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly say the one where we keep saying it's therapy. But the other is that, you use what you got to get what you need.
Explain that.
I love myself a lot more than I ever have. And I have a vivid imagination. I'm determined. Some would say stubborn. It's not going to get the best of me. So it's not just individual therapy, but it's being out. I think that's it. Being out and truthful. It's not like I wear it and just it's the first thing you know about me when I come into a room.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to let it take up all my space, all my feelings,
Right.
all my thoughts. But I'm out about it. I'm not ashamed of it. And so that helps a lot. I can talk to people, talk to you. And also, there's the people you talk to, and there's people you stop talking to. Why would I talk to somebody that is going to be negative, not believe you, or go, just forgive them? I don't talk to those people. I heard a great thing in a meeting. When it comes to the people who just aren't available, they don't have what you need.
Yeah.
Why you keep going to them? And the way they put it, they said, why are you going in the hardware store asking them for oranges? You need to go in the grocery store for that. So going to these people
Right.
that can't hear you or can and don't want to, or are just gonna hurt you. I don't talk to them.
So I'm happy you mentioned that, because that was a part of my being in the space in Jamaica, right? Because again, it's my uncle's death, which meant majority of the family, the relatives, was coming together. And in that space were a few family members that I still believe, as much as we are trying to move, you can still feel the tension when we come together, right? Because up until even, was it a year and a half ago when we had gone back, I don't remember if it was my grandmother's funeral or something, one of these aunts literally made the comment, even after all these years, she brought up again, we must have liked it, why we never spoke about it. And this person was there, she was there, and it's just going in the space. I'm prepping myself. Okay, I know this individual is going to be there. What is it going to be like? Da, da, da. And it doesn't matter how much you try to prep yourself when you're present.
Yes.
And you're feeling the energy and the vibe and the awkwardness between it, because I want to believe I'm over all of that nonsense. That's your issues. You got to work it out. But even so, knowing that I'm trying to move beyond this, but the very real tension of being in the space when I really don't know where your headspace is, I could also feel the tension from her because it's awkward. I know what I know about you, and it feels like, okay, I don't know if you're okay now. But speaking about being back, when I'm away from it and creating distance from them, because of those very reasons, there's a few family members or relatives that I don't have regular conversations with anymore. And it's a wise thing to do. People making reference like, oh, it's because you haven't forgiven. It's bullcrap.
It is.
It's because
it totally is.
People keep saying and showing you that they're still of that mindset. They haven't shifted. So why would you keep putting yourself in harm's way? So that was my thing. There were so many variables that were coming up and coming out. So I'm not surprised at the triggers, but then I'm surprised by it. It was just my reaction.
Yeah.
Right. And now I want to ask you, because you're like pure gold for me in the sense that not only are you a survivor, but you're a social worker. You've worked in this field for so many years. Why is it that we have such an issue when triggers happen? Because we are off this belief or this mindset that you should be further along and this not affect you. So why do we react this way when it does happen and it's just like, oh my God, am I going backwards?
I think some of it is those people in our heads that say we should be over it. It's not a big deal. It happened to me. Right. So some of it is out of the tapes in our heads. And because we have such high and sometimes unrealistic expectations of ourselves, we're hard on ourselves. We've been told, we didn't even have to be told in words.
No.
Okay, it's like the energy is there.
Yes.
That tells us that we are bad, that we're a temptress, that our body attracts evil.
That we liked it.
That we like, that we're bad. It's misogyny. So I'm going to say that when it comes to women, it is misogyny. I was thinking this morning about one of the oldest t-shirts I have. It's way too small for me now, but I'm not going to throw it away. It's a white t-shirt, and in red letters it says, "Feminism is the radical notion that women are people."
Oh, wow.
This world,
wow,
and its many cultures, to a great degree, still does not treat girls and women as if we are people on par with boys and men. That's not to, damn all males or anything like that, but it is the way the world is working. It has seeped into religion, which I think has nothing to do with God. That, to me, is something to work on. And so I think I'm one who questions everything. One of the most foolish things I've heard said in my family, you question, don't question God's will. Why? You think God don't know the answer? God know the answer. I'm going to question God all the time. But I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to ask God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And expect him to answer in all different ways.
Exactly. I'm going to be open to the answer. I might like it, I might not, but I'm going to be open to it.
Yeah.
But I believe that it's when you've been lied to.
Yes.
Either in words or just in actions or insinuations or in vibes, in culture, in religion or whatever. When you've been lied to about who you are and what's your fault, you need to question everything. And you especially need to question everything that makes you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
And I think an important question is, what did I do? When it comes to being a child and being abused sexually, you didn't do anything. Yeah. You really need to know. You didn't do anything.
Hear that? You didn't do anything.
Yeah. As an adult, you might do some foolish stuff. You could even do some bad stuff. As an adult, you're much more accountable, and you need to ask yourself every day, what did I do? What did I fail to do? We do that stuff. Yeah. And some of it, too, I think is laughing. Oh. Because stuff is just so ridiculous, Yeah. Sometimes you have to, just laugh and
to the other part of what I'm dealing with, I went to a cousin's session with her psychiatrist.
Oh, okay.
And that was interesting. It was emotionally charged and very telling. However, at some point in time, their psychiatrist started asking me questions about, where I am as it pertains to relationships. Am I open to having relationships? How do I process? And one critical question that he asked was about trusting. Like, how am I learning and how have I learned or processed? And all of the questions that he asked, though, I wasn't prepared in the moment to answer him, but I've been sitting with it for quite some time. And I just wanted to ask you, as a 72-year-old woman that have been single for a period, are you still thinking around wanting to be in relationships, and what would that look like for you now?
I love being single.
You do?
I love being single. I had to be really honest with myself. It could be, I think it's part just who I am, really independent. I've gotten used to not having to compromise and all that stuff. I think the most I could do is date. I cannot imagine myself sharing a household with anybody. For those who are into astrology at all, I'm a Leo. I have 3 houses in Leo. I can't help myself. I'm ridiculous. I am large and in charge. And that has been something, since I've been a little girl, I've always been criticized about that. I'm not feminine. I think like a man. I work like a shit.
Yeah.
This is how I'm a woman.
Speak on that.
Yeah, this is how I'm a woman. This is how I love as a woman.
Wow.
I'm generous. I'm big. I'm hardworking. I'll be right out there, with you.
Hardworking indeed.
And I'll do all that, and I'll cook you a 9-course meal. And my idea of love is almost like a spoil contest. I want to overdo things, but I want you to really. It's almost like how good can I want you to wake up and say, how good can I be to her? And I'll be like, how good can I be to you? I admire deeply, and certainly there's a part that kind of wishes I had, but I'm not mostly sad about it. Like, I have friends for 30, 40 years,
Nice.
and I can see and feel the way they vibe and balance one another, and are good to one another and all that stuff. And I have to say, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. And I don't expect to, because I've asked myself, okay, for you, Regina, what kind of person, what kind of man or woman would that work for you? Or what would be the qualifications, the characteristics of somebody you want? And one of the things that come up to us, somebody that always up under me, bothering me, somebody who will leave me alone. I like my time to myself.
Yeah.
I would need to kind of make appointments with you. I don't want to sleep with anybody but my dog all the time. All the time. I want the bed. I want to flop around it. I don't want you to wake me up and tell me I'm snoring. I know I'm snoring. Leave me alone. And so
you're content with where
very,
you
very
are
content.
right now.
I have a lot of love more love in my life than I've ever had, when it comes to really good friends.
Yeah. But do you ever long for or yearn for, because you said it earlier, there's certain things that you never had.
Right.
You don't know what that is like.
Right.
So is it a matter of, because you don't know, you're not really longing for it or yearning for it?
It could be. It's way in the corner of my mind. So, for instance, I don't know what it is to be a little girl who's adored. My uncle was kind of like that, but I saw him summers for a few weeks. So I thought he was like this. So when I see, like on television or in real life, a little girl dancing on her daddy's feet, on her shoes, right?
Yeah.
I could cry.
It does it for
In
me
a minute.
too.
It
Yeah.
brings tears to my
Yeah.
eyes. The reason in a poem I wrote, the greatest, where I had my fantasy father as Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
is when I saw, the champion of the world and his daughters, Layla and Tatiana, on his knee playing with him. And he looks like the most gentle person in the world.
Yeah.
When I first saw that photo in Ebony magazine, I cried.
Wow. Wow.
I just cried.
Talk about a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But what I know now that I didn't know then, part of my crying when I first saw that was I thought, those little girls and most little girls who were loved by their daddies had this sweet essence that I thought I didn't have. I thought I had just the opposite. I thought I had some ugly original sin Jezebel spirit that just attracted,
Yeah.
I need to beat that thing up because that thing is bad. So I know better now. I know that I had that and I have it and I let it shine and I see people respond to it. Now they've been doing that all along, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because, the abuse overshadowed it. Now I can see it. That's another reason to go to therapy. But I can see that I do have that sparkling love light and that people are drawn to it.
Oftentimes when you talk about that, it really stops me in my track to think about what that means for me. I never had that either. I never had that. I had a father that he just wanted boys. He loved and respected and adored his sons. And he made it known that I wasn't his cup of tea because I was a girl. And so for years, just like you, and even now, if I'm to be honest, I see men with their daughters and it's the same kind of reaction. It's just like, oh my gosh, what that must feel like for the little girls. But also it's knowing how having that safety, that security, that love from a dad, how that positions them in the world, right? Where you're not, because I spent years trying to get my dad's validation. And when I didn't get it there, I was seeking for it from lovers, right? That didn't work either. And I'm trying to figure out for myself and make sense of the fact that even though I never had any of that, the affection, the being adored, all of that, it's something I still yearn.
Yes.
I yearn and I wonder, and it's not just something that I yearn, but as it pertains to the affection piece of it, I am a very affectionate person. Where my boys are concerned, it's always just loving on them, hugging them, kissing them. So I know it's in there, even though I did not receive that from my dad. I didn't receive it from my mom. My mom was and still is not a very affectionate person. She's shifted now since she's had grandchildren, but you can still see at times when they hug on her, she becomes so stiff or so stoic. And I'll understand, or at least I think it's because somehow, the touching part of it, it's damaging. But I always marvel about what it is about me that still yearns. I really do want that. And I don't know, I convinced myself that I was okay with being single. But ironically, since this man started digging in my business, the psychiatrist, it's bringing up all of these things for me. What do I want? What would that look like for me? Because before I was operating from a different space, right?
I don't trust it. That's my experience has been that, everybody puts their best foot forward.
Yeah, always.
My two, most significant long-lasting relationships started out, of course, with a beautiful courtship. It's not only, I know you're not in the honeymoon forever, it's not even that waned.
Yeah.
No, it
flipped.
Let me try to kill you every day, okay? Let me try to spend your money and not work.
Ooh.
Let me try to take advantage of you. Let me call you out of your name.
That part.
Let me do it with everybody around the block.
Ooh.
And so this is not right, but I don't know how to tell the difference. I think I'm not qualified for an intimate, serious relationship because I don't know how to take care of myself in it. And I have to admit that. I don't. If I learn that, maybe, but I don't know how to. I don't know how to. It's still too hard for me to tell someone I'm upset with them one to one and try to work it out.
Yeah.
I'm brave in the world. I think I said before. Yeah, I could go argue with the President of the United States, the whole Congress. I can do that. And I do that, more locally and, municipal and statewide. I can do that. I can have a debate with a stranger. I cannot tell the person I sleep with and supposedly loves me, you hurt my feelings. You made me mad. I still would avoid that, beat around the bush, try to deal with it. That's the dangerous thing. And that's where I haven't healed enough yet. I still believe if somebody close to me is mad at me, they intend to destroy, to really harm me.
Yeah.
And I'm vulnerable in a way to them. But like I said, I could date. Okay. And that's not what I could do right now.
You don't understand how much that's resonating for me in so many ways, because I operated the same way in relationships where I even had friends, because when you're on the outside looking in, I have a dear friend that I've had from high school here, and there were times I would be talking to her or situations she knew I experienced, and she's going, this is not the Larissa I know, because the Larissa I know would anybody, as you said, out there, and especially when it comes on to my children, there is no reservations. I don't care who you are. You could be the president. I don't care. We're going to have words. But when it came on to my intimate relationships, and she always said to me that is so strange, because the Jamaican in me so quick to come out where I'll tell you about your pots and your mother and everybody and all of this. I couldn't do it. And even when boundaries were being overstepped, even when I was being called out of my name or treated disrespectfully in relationships, I went quiet. I went inward. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out what that was until, again, through therapy, and it wasn't even a direct conversation, because let's talk about the fact that we are in therapy. You're only going once or twice per month for you. A lot of whatever you're doing is processing in real time in your real life every day, your day to day.
Yeah, you use the tools.
You're using the tools. So through conversations and processing, I'm realizing a lot of how I operated in my intimate relationships, I was still seeking validation. I was still exactly what I was looking for and expecting from my father. I was still hoping and expecting this from my relationships. And when I never got it, I did the same thing. I went inward. It must be something with me. Am I creating this? I never saw it as you're dating men that also comes with their issues, that their unhealed trauma and they're projecting as well. I never saw it. It was always something that I did or I am doing that's causing them to behave the way, even as much as cheating.
Yeah.
It must be something I did.
That's what the world says too.
Yeah, right.
What you're not doing. Do you wear enough pink? Did you put on your lipstick? Did you do your hair? Get away from me. Did you cook?
The craziest part about this, the person that I've had the longest relationship with, which it's crazy to say, but I've never gone more than 3 years.
Okay.
Was the same person who started to explain to me way after the breakup that this is not the case. Stop internalizing everything. And this is one of the reasons I do still love and respect this man in that regard, because through conversations, because now we're friends, we're cool, right? And he would say to me that this cheating, for example, had nothing to do with you, and you need to stop that. I cheated simply because the opportunity presented itself. And I did because I could. This had nothing to do with you. And I thank God for his honesty in that, and being his willingness to help me to process that. And so it was through conversations like that, and then of course taking it back to my therapist, and she's validating that and be like, yeah, this had nothing to do with you. But the crazy thing about it, you would think in your adult stage and where you are in your life, you're maturing, at least you hope, this is something that you would naturally know. It doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't. One of the biggest benefits or things I'm grateful for that is definitely a result of therapy and other therapeutic things. Individual therapy, support groups, the quality of people in my life today.
Yes.
That bar is way up there. And one of the things is knowing by experience that my father and his damage and his sickness, and I'll call it that.
That's sickness, yeah.
Is not representative of all men. That's not the nature of males, just period.
Yeah.
I used to say, in my head, I knew not to say it out loud. This is terrible, but I believed it. I used to say testosterone is the curse upon the world. Ooh. I really believed that.
Yeah.
But in my life now, had that opportunity to have great male friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and to see men who genuinely love their wives, their husbands, their children, their partners, their mothers, their families,
that
are loyal, are true, and do that. Just seeing that. I especially love it in the male poets in Primal. Where I do that Primal podcast most Monday nights. And seeing the men of Primal, and shout out to all of y'all, to see men not just write about love and playfulness and all that other stuff, but mean it.
Yeah, that part.
As a teenager who liked a lot of male singing groups, I wondered, once again, I knew better than to wonder aloud. It's like, how could men write all these love songs when they don't have no feelings? Really? It's like,
Yeah. And it speaks to how hurt they get too.
Right.
Yeah,
and it took part of it for me too. Part of the joy of it was having a son.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That will do it. That will do it. Oh yeah.
Having a son and knowing this is a full human being, and that much of the difference had to do with how you treat a girl and a boy, but how you treat a young boy.
Ooh,
that
child.
You don't raise them by hitting them in the head every day and telling them to not cry and this, that, and the other, and all that other nonsense.
Yes.
That you got a whole human being. Yeah.
I think that of the cajillion of blessings that have been bestowed on me from God Almighty, that is one of the biggest blessings, I think, for me. Yeah. And I did not even have context for that. It took Janice, shout out to APRN at the sickle cell clinic where I go to, when I was pregnant with my first son. I remember leading up to that, because that was a decision. It was a choice I made because of whatever was happening. I had a year in which to conceive and to have my son. But I remember bargaining with God. I am begging you, please, I don't want to have a daughter. I never wanted a girl. And amazingly, God, it happened that I have two sons, and it took Janice at one of my appointments with Jaden before he was born. She said to me, your son is going to be the person that actually bring you back to that place where you believe that men are okay. Mm-hmm. So naturally, when I got pregnant again and I had my second son, and she goes, God never makes a mistake. These are going to be your restorers. And at the time, I was just like, yeah, but Miss Regina.
It's true. See, I was scared to have a boy. And I'm glad I had a girl first.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I wanted a girl. I understood girls. That's like, I used to be a girl. I know what to do.
But mine was all fear driven.
No, I was afraid. This is so sick, but this is how damaged we can get.
Yeah.
As a teenager, when I thought of having a male child, I was afraid my son would grow up and kill me. Because I always thought my father wanted me dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought
get
of
it.
men as people who had the power to kill you. And when you think about it now, though, when you think of the abuse, right? You think of a little girl in a little girl's body.
Yeah.
My father was big. He was like 6'2". He was wide. You know, and I knew he could kill me.
Yeah.
And though I have a lot of repressed memories, I really believe that the abuse felt like death.
It did.
Yeah, yeah, it felt like
I can relate.
I might die, that this might kill me.
I relate. I can relate.
And so, yeah, and then to, have my first marriage to a man who, like I said, started off sweet, read me poems, sing me songs, bring me flowers, and then, you just turn into the Incredible Hulk. Okay? You know what I'm saying? The furniture's flying and the house is turning around and stuff. And he, too, is like,
yeah.
and at one point, the fool had a rifle.
No.
And I'm like, yeah, just like, okay, he's gonna. And you know what? This is terrible. This is terrible, but it's statistically true. If not the greatest, one of the greatest. I haven't checked the data lately.
Yeah.
Most frequent ways that women are killed are by men who said they loved.
Yeah, it's almost always the case.
That does happen. But now what I see the other side of the moon where that doesn't happen and the opposite thing happens and they do protect and love and all of that stuff, but all I really saw was like the potential for killing.
Oh. So it's just speaking about the many ways in which trauma impacts us. Because even though he never said out loud, I am going to kill you, you knew that. And you took that on to mean that you could get killed at any moment. It was the same thing for me growing up, and when this man kept threatening, if you say anything, I'm going to, and for him, he was walking around all the time, sharpening a machete. And so a little girl, and it's just like, I believe this man, right? And so it's, to your point, it's growing up and just seeing danger.
As a teenager, my father would be raging and we'd be arguing. As a teenager, even though I was scared to death, I'm yelling back at him. I just, my mother's sitting between us looking helpless. But I'd scream at him. But the thing I didn't scream that was always on the tip of my tongue is, why don't you just effing kill me and get it over with?
Get it over with, yeah.
Just kill me and get it over with was what, yeah, that's
what's going on in my
like.
Head right now.
And then, I hear a lot of people, and it's a mistake, say that, women who are in that situation then turn to women. I was always attracted to women, more so than men. Though I think about 20% of the time, I'll be really attracted to a man. About 80% of the time, I'll be a woman. But 100% of the time, I would deny being attracted to anybody. For most of my life, right? But the truth is, if you don't know how to have a healthy relationship, you don't know how to have a healthy relationship. And so, the relationship with a woman was as toxic as the one to my ex-husband. If you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it.
And you're also attracting unhealthy people.
Exactly.
To this equation.
As you get better, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
I
think as you get better, what you attract. In terms of people, pets, jobs, money, everything. It changes.
Yeah, it does.
It changes.
It does. But with that, I wanted to go back to when you had your daughter. What was that like the first time holding your baby girl? And what did that do for you, as in you're seeing this and holding this precious little being?
Yes.
And what did that bring up for you? Because I can't imagine the level of protection and all of the things that you were thinking about in that moment. So yeah.
First of all, I knew her so well before she was born. She communicated her presence to me spiritually. The night I got pregnant with her, my husband thought, you crazy, but I said, yep. I mean, I saw a yellow ray of light come in through the window at night, land, hover over my stomach and disappear. And it's like, and that's why her name is Raina. She came in on a ray of light.
Oh, wow.
I would have what people would call dreams, but to me they were communications of the places and the relationships and how we'd known each other in various lifetimes and various spirits. So I thought I knew her so well. And then when I saw her, she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And she had that quality, that, oh, isn't she sweet? That I thought I didn't have. I didn't feel overly protective because I thought, because she was so beautiful and adorable, that no one would want to hurt her. I thought I was ugly and vile and therefore attracted abuse. And I didn't expect the world to want to do anything but love, adore, and protect her. And no, that was not true. You know, I learned that these mofos will do it too. They'll do it to Goldilocks. They'll do it to the Virgin Mary. Okay? That just, yeah.
So did you have a different reaction when you had Edward? Because
yeah, I did.
I had a real awakening when I had my boys.
It's interesting too. Yes. So my goal with a girl was to raise someone who would be a strong woman. My goal with a boy was to raise someone who would be a gentle man.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
I had different. I felt like girls need strength because they're in danger in the world.
Yeah.
But I began to see, it was interesting how little boys could be in danger in the world, and I did become protective of him. One, their personalities were so different.
Yeah.
You know, Raina came out roaring. Yeah, she was sweet and looked all that, but she came out roaring. And Edward kind of came out, she still was mama's boy. You know. But also, when he was not quite one, I was home. I was still married to my ex, and one of my ex-husband's name was Ed. Ed's friend came over. I don't even remember who he was, but he wanted to hold Edward, and everything in the vibe said no. And I said no, and I just picked up my baby and went out of the room. I don't know. It just became really clear. Like,
the fact that you actually responded to that feeling. I commend you for that. And it's perfect because for me to explain, that was my awakening when I gave birth to Jaden. And immediately, because I never wanted the daughter because I just thought I was not going to be able to protect her as much. And somewhat the same thing where I felt like the world is just out to get her, and she's going, even if I was able to protect her, that somehow she would end up resenting me because she was never going to understand. Because, you know, girls, we do push back a lot and we argue and things like that. So I just thought I would do a number on her and she was still going to end up on somebody's couch, right? So when my son was born, however, it never felt like I was going to have to protect him in that way until they handed me this little boy. And I said hello, met my baby, and the first sign of this nurse picking him up and walking out of the room to go clean him up, Miss Regina, my entire body, I came up out of, no, give me my baby. You cannot leave this room with him. Instantly in that moment, I started reacting because now I'm realizing, wait, I don't know you. I don't trust you with my baby. And I don't know what you're going to do when you take him out of all that trauma showing up in that moment. But what really startled me, it wasn't just with the nurse. I realized when I took my son home that my brothers that I know would never harm them. His dad that I know, yes, consciously, I know this, subconsciously, every time they picked this baby up and moved away out of my sight, it was perfectly fine. Y'all play with him, do whatever, right in front of me. The moment they picked him up and walked away, bring him back. And I remember a conversation with his dad where he sat me down one day and he said, I'm not going to hurt him, right? So now people are seeing this, and I don't think my brothers picked up on it at the time because I thought I did it so coyly where I just be like, hey, it's time to feed him. Hey, I think I need to change him. I literally just left with, I need to change him, but their dad, he didn't miss a beat. He was like, hey, that's my son. I'm not going to hurt him. You can allow me to leave with him. But and I think because he's such a rugged dude, but for some reason he was able to be attuned to that, to realize, hold up, but his actions, what he did in that moment in saying that, reassuring me, I'm not going to hurt him. And if you feel more comfortable with me being here with him, fine. You want to watch me? Yes, I want to watch you.
But that's good that he
So
said that. That is good that he said that.
he did, and it was that let my guard down around him and my brothers. But I realized this was no different from me having a daughter, because now I realize, no, it's a child. The
Yes.
world is mean to
Yes.
children. So all of that came flooding back. So yeah, it was a real awakening for me. And so we're talking about all of the varying ways trauma presents itself.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's almost as
yes.
if your body, when is the let down, you are able to relax, because unbeknownst to us, when we're in these heightened states, and it's always, you're always in these heightened states, what is that doing to your nervous system?
Oh, please.
Right. It's
To
just
your body,
so
to your everything. One
everything.
of my very good friends who died it's been about 7 years ago now. And she's one of the first people that I could talk to out loud about being a survivor. I don't remember what we were talking about, but she looked at me and she said, well, Regina, as survivors, we just don't live as long. And she dropped dead about 7 years ago, just literally dropped. But
That
she overdrank and she smoked a lot of cigarettes and all of that stuff, but it can kill you. And so I'm not gonna let it kill me. But definitely, we do stuff. It could be heightened, blood pressure, it could be anxiety, it could be overeating, whatever, smoking, drinking, whatever, just denial. For some people they use so-called religion as a crutch.
Yeah.
I don't call that faith, because they're scared to death all the time. And there's nothing wrong with being afraid.
Yeah.
But I think you know what I'm saying. But I think for some people it's like just being overzealous about any one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And everything.
Everything, right.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring them relief or any kind of solace or whatever. That's where I think we have to tend to ourselves with intention.
So what's so crazy? When I was having those reactions in Jamaica, right? A few months ago, I had said to my therapist that for the first time ever, I could not only feel it, but I knew it. After all these years, I felt like my shoulders were always here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And after a particular therapy session, and this was my first EMDR session, like shortly after that, Miss Regina, I could feel that my shoulders lowered, and I felt like a relief, like something had lifted. Ironically, a week and a half ago when I was in Jamaica and all of these things started happening, I literally felt like my shoulders went right back here.
Oh, yeah, of course they did. And I was
like-
going to say, me too. I noticed at some point how stiff I held when I would go get my nails done, they'd be like, okay, relax. I'd have it, and they'd be like, okay, and I was like, oh my God, look at me. But, and another thing that really helped is an AM online meditation I do with a bunch of women, most of whom are either in the Caribbean or originally from the Caribbean, mostly Jamaica and Barbados. But there's something about, doing this thing with other black women and doing this meditation every morning. then as I do it every morning, and I don't always feel like I'm doing it right or long enough or
Right.
whatever, but absolutely has made a difference in the way I hold my body,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way my muscles aren't so tight, the way I don't have as much pain in my body.
Woo.
I think when we don't tend to our trauma, it's definitely in our body, literally locked in our body,
Yeah.
and we just wonder what's wrong with us.
But the crazy thing is, we don't even know that it's the trauma. Not only is
Oh,
it,
no, no.
things are really going wrong as it is causing illnesses in our body, but just as something as simple as that level of that tense
Yes.
thing that you're having to deal with. Because, and to that point, as I said, I wasn't even aware that I was literally walking with my shoulders
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Right? Because I've been locked in that position of just the tension, the stress in my body and all of that. I wasn't aware of it. And I became aware because I literally felt like my shoulders dropped about 3 inches. And I was able to walk,
You did.
breathe different.
Yes.
And again, I brought that up only because this is a real thing. And I don't think we talk about it enough because people aren't even aware that it's showing up in their bodies like that.
And in our movements, the way we move and the way we can't move. But I was thinking about like women's hands, the black women's hands in my community, in my family, that I watched just going so fast.
Yeah.
Whatever they did. And I admired that as a little kid. Whether it was cleaning like this,
Yeah.
but it's like using anxiety for fuel to move yourself. Or if it was, bathing and dressing a baby, you're putting a lotion on like, it's like a factory. And their hands are going so fast, they're blurring. And yet it's like I admired that. I sought to emulate it. Like looking at like, how many dishes can I wash in 60 seconds? And counting and racing against myself. The things that,
My God.
and then, you're going, oh, cleanliness, godliness, oh, I'm a good housekeeper, I'm a good this. No, you are
It's trauma
You're on the
response.
ceiling. You are on the ceiling. So it's just even sometimes knowing. I guess this is what I want to say to survivors who are not doing any conscious healing work and just saying it's okay, or I forgave them, or whatever. They said one prayer and said it's over.
Yeah.
Just like begin to imagine or ask whatever higher power you believe in to give you a taste of how much better you could feel.
Oh my God.
That this feeling you have most of the time, the feeling in your stomach,
Yeah.
the hypervigilance where you're always looking around the room. You can't be looking somebody in the eye talking because you're looking over the shoulder and you're looking there and looking there to see what's coming. That, just ask for a taste, a dream, or whatever.
Freedom.
To imagine
Yeah.
how much better you could feel.
Listen, there's so much to unpack there. But you said something just now about the hypervigilance, which led into just looking at people or not looking. I think we need to do an episode period on how certain behaviors that survivors display, how easily it's misread and just labeled as something else. Because even that, looking in someone's eyes, I've grown up hearing this, and even at this big old age, I'm still hearing people make the stupid remark that you are not a honest person, you're dishonest because you can't hold eye contact. Whoever the dum-dum was that said that, don't get me wrong, but some people probably, I don't know.
Right.
But the fact is when we do this one size fits all,
No.
because I've been
And a
accused
lot of
of
people can
being
look you straight in the
dishonest.
eye and lie and do all that other mess to you, looking right up in your eyes.
That part.
Yeah.
But for me, my inability to hold a gaze
Yes.
was literally, I thought you could see how unworthy I felt. I thought you could see my traumas. I thought you could see all of these things. And so it had a level of insecurity and shame and guilt around it that I just thought in my head, looking at me, you can tell, oh, this girl's broken.
And I feel that if it's just me and one person, there's that, what are you seeing? But if I'm in like a semi-public place where there's other people,
Right.
I'm also looking around. I'm
Not to
scoping out the
mention
environment the whole
yep,
time to
the
see what dangers
hypervigilance.
out there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that too causes that level of tension in the body.
Absolutely.
Because I can't even say I have completely overcome that, because I don't like crowded spaces. I don't like being in tight spaces either. But the fact is, it's a part of the reason why I could never enjoy even going to a club.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
in those
yeah.
days, and my friends are going, no, I would have to be by the exit. I don't want anybody rubbing up on me. Please don't touch me.
yeah.
But in addition to that, it's the hypervigilance. It's what's happening, who's where. I need to see all of y'all out there because I don't. Miss Regina, the amount of things that does to your mental, to
Yes,
your
yes, yeah.
it's a lot.
It is.
And what's worse is that there's so many people that are not even aware that they're constantly in activation mode. Right? I have to protect, I have to shield myself, and this is what I'm doing. And just thinking about it logically, how that breaks down everything, your nervous system, your mental. It's no wonder so many of us end up with mental illness.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's one thing to know, it's a whole nother ballgame when you can't even identify that you're operating in survival mode at all times.
Oh, and then especially I think for so many cultures, probably most of the world, where people have just had to work incredibly hard just to survive. And then if we get beyond the survival level, and we're still overworking, and we're judging the quality of our life by the things we have, are our basic needs met, and do we have beyond that? Do we have a designer bag, a designer wig, some designer shoes, or whatever?
To make
and
you
then
feel
we
good.
should be happy. And looking everywhere but like to our souls and to our mental health. Like there's nothing wrong with you if you go to work every day.
Right.
That's the one that kills me, the denial around like alcoholism, and addiction, especially with alcohol because it's legal.
Yeah.
And especially like with a man. If he goes to work every day and pays the bills, he ain't no alcoholic. He could come home every weekend and, he could like go to work all week, whatever, not be drunk. And then come home and tear up the house, kick the dog, kill the cat, beat the kids. But he
To
paid the bills.
justify behaviors, right? The things that we do and say to justify all of this toxic, crazy, unprocessed trauma that we normalize. And
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, he deserves to work all week. He need a break. And like, whoa.
But we live in that. So imagine, yes, you're in a body where you're not even comfortable in. Then you go in a relationship where all of this is happening. It's no wonder more of us don't just drop dead.
No, it's the truth.
It's amazing to me.
It's the truth. And I don't want to just act like only, men can be alcoholics.
Right.
It's like, but we're more forgiving of men who pay the bills and be drunk than we are of women who work and pay bills and be drunk. Because once again, that's the misogyny, the way we, that it's worse for a woman to be a drunk. Because then she'd probably be a drunk slut.
That part. Listen, we laugh sometimes. There's nothing funny about this.
Right,
But
paying the bills doesn't forgive that. Because,
listen.
But we just like, I'll just say to people, please. And there's all kinds of therapies. So talk therapy might not be the
Your thing,
best
yeah.
thing for somebody, but there's art therapy, there's dance therapy, there's whatever, goat therapy, right?
Hug a tree.
Whatever, right?
No shade to tree
there's
huggers,
music
but there's-
therapy.
yeah.
Exercise is therapeutic, but
And
there's
no
groups.
one model works forever either.
Right, that's right.
Because before I had language to say, that was what was happening when I was in my 20s, even in my 30s, there are things that I enjoyed doing so much, like putting on the music, and it would have to be so loud. But for me, it was drowning out,
Yes.
right? It was drowning out stuff. I didn't have to think about anything, but that was therapeutic for me, right? I've always been a talker, but again, I never had conversations about this, right? Because I was silenced.
Yeah.
But I found other ways, writing, how I stumbled into writing.
Yeah.
And that was just so releasing. It was cathartic for me, all of that. But then after a while, it just didn't work. It worked until it didn't. I am only now getting back to the place where I can really sit with a good piece of music and be enjoying it. But the point is, I had to pivot. I had to realize, and I knew, we'll talk about that later, I know exactly when the shift started for me. When I started to lose interest in everything, and to the point of addiction. There's so many ways we get addicted to varying different things.
Yes.
Because there was a season I was addicted to SVU.
Oh, wow.
Which was the worst show to be watching and being addicted to as a survivor. Watched that thing so bad I started to get paranoid.
My ex-wife used to watch that all the time. And that's when I worked in child sex. I was like, oh no, I do crimes against children for a job.
All day, every day.
I'm not coming. That is not entertainment. I'm not watching it at home.
I watch that thing.
But yeah.
And then the levels of attachments that we have to things as well. And I'm going through that currently in real time, where I'm only now realizing that because I never felt safe with people, over the years I accumulated things.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, now I'm in a space and a place where I want to, it's too much, like too much clothing, too much shoes, too much. But I didn't know then. It brought me comfort, and it cocooned me.
I get that.
It cocooned me in such a way.
I used to hate white space on a wall. I had to, yeah. And I felt like the things swaddled me, literally.
I'm laughing.
I had to work from that. And definitely my mother, my grandmother, her sister, they were hoarders. I don't care what they want to call it, And so, yeah, it's in the blood. When I cleaned out my mother's house, when she moved out of it, I said, I'm not having my children have to do this. I was lucky that I wasn't doing it and my mother was still alive when I did it. But it was ridiculous. And while she was in there, she fought us all the way. Everything we would be taking. Let me see that. No, I think I need that. And then it's like, oh my God.
That's me.
So I said, nope, I'm not doing that twice a year. And that's when I started twice a year, every year. And now I do it more than twice a year. I do a purge.
I have to get to that, and I need help doing it. I literally just said to the boys, and the reason why I chuckled when he said you couldn't see a white wall, because the person I was referring to earlier is my children's dad, right? Well, we have a cool relationship now, but whenever he comes to visit the boys, he's always saying to me, I'm convinced you don't like to see an open space. Like, if we move something from right here, by the time I come back to with some up, you put something in the space, right? And I'm in real time now. It's to the point that, again, it served me in a season. Now I feel as if I'm suffocating. However, I have grown so attached to the things because it kept me safe. And I didn't know this, again, what therapy does, right? And this is not because my therapist said it. It's just working through. I'm realizing, oh my God, I found security in things because they needed me to take care of them, right? People leave. My things ain't going nowhere. So don't touch my stuff. It's I have with my boys now. It doesn't matter how crazy my space is. If you come in and move a pencil, I know you moved a pencil from right there. Put it back. Where's the pencil? But now, I need to get rid of it, and I need help because I have so much attachment to the stuff. Right. I'm like your mom. Now I still need that.
My mother, I heard myself when I heard my mother say, I was trying to throw away something. It was dirty, yellowed. It was no good. But Sarah Ann gave me that. No, that's her sister. And there's this belief that I realized I have that belief. If someone gave you something, you can never throw it away.
Me too.
It's disrespectful. You don't love them. You're throwing them away.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not even like her sister wasn't living at the time. Sarah Ann gave me that. So, like, she has to keep it till she dies, and then I'm supposed to keep it till I die, and then my kids will... No, and it'll just... Until it just...
It's with everything. Yeah.
And then something else, she had a drawer full of stockings with runs. I'm talking about stockings from the 1950s, from when you had to put the stocking on and hook it
The
with a little
garter?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
She was never going to wear them. Well, I might want to make a pillow and stuff it with. She ain't never
She's
made
just
a pillow.
not partying with the stuff.
Right. It's just the stuff. Ain't that many stocking caps in the world, okay? A whole drawer full. I put them in a bag and throw them away. And then she said, well, when you throw them, it's just like you're throwing me away.
Oh, my gosh. The attachment.
And I said, okay, Regina.
Jade,
You got
are
to
we
work
still
on
good?
this now, because you're going to be just like this, and I'm not going to let you do this to your children. That's one way to look at it when you think of it. You're not going to do that to your children.
I can't do this to my boys.
Right, exactly. That's what.
And it's
piece
the
of
way that we
motivation.
justify it. No, I still need that. No, it's just you're finding ways and means and not even understanding. It's the level of attachment I have with that.
It fills gaps. Kim
That's
said to
deep.
me, she was great when she said, they're just things. She said, your memories, all that is here and here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where
yeah.
it is. It's not in that shoe, that whatever. It's here. She said, you haven't been through, and she had a fire
Oh,
where she lost everything. She said,
That's
so I lost
perspective.
everything, but I didn't lose anything because
That's
all the
perspective,
memories
yeah.
are there. And so that kind of woke me up a little bit.
now this is my homework to myself because now this episode is really speaking to me and things that I need to part with.
Same thing. The way I got my mother to give them up, I said, Mom,
Please tell
I
me.
know you're a good Christian woman, and there's some poor person, they ain't got no shoes to wear to church, and they want to. Let me give these shoes to some. And so she said, yep,
Oh,
She
wow.
said yes to that.
I don't know where we're going with the next episode, but once again, we started out with triggers, and I think we covered that. We did. But we pivoted so
Yeah,
many
we sure
different
did.
directions. And you know what? It's not, I think it's just stuff we needed to address, which is also pointing to the fact that we need to have more intense conversations around this because it's real, the things that we get attached to or unhealthy coping mechanisms,
Yes.
the way we're showing up in relationships, all of these things, we really do need to have serious conversations around this because it's not just our experience.
No, it's
It's
very universal. It
everyone
really
that's
is. Yeah,
having these
yeah.
experiences. And while we're wrapping up, I always, and I keep coming back to this, and which is one of the things that really sanctioned for me the importance of having these conversations. It's one of your friends that I met here. And this had to be like 1.5 years, 2 years ago when I met a friend of yours. And apparently you must have told her about Journey to Free and the work
Yes.
that we do in Jamaica. And she just randomly started saying, oh, I've heard about you and I commend you and all of these things. And long and short of the story, she said to me, she could never talk about the things that she has gone through, she has endured in her family. And through the conversation, it's realizing that practically everyone died in her family. Why she's still holding on to the story so much and apparently suffering.
Yes.
I think you know who I'm
yeah,
talking
I do,
to.
I do.
And she's suffering in real time.
Yes.
The traumas are so obvious of how she's coping, how she's dealing. But for some reason, she's entrapped with that she can never tell the
She
story.
said unspeakable things, horrible things that you can't speak of. Or she was like, I'll tell you one day in person. I can't say it on the phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's many people that still believe wholeheartedly
Yes.
they can't speak. And I said to her the day, you may not be able to say it like I said it, right? But talk to Miss Regina
Yes,
about
say
these
it.
things.
Yeah.
You have to get it up and out of your body.
Yes.
But the point is that there's so many people suffering in silence day after day. And I get it. As someone that it took me over 30 years to speak openly and publicly, how long did it take you before you started? You were able to.
I think I had to be in my mid-30s. Yeah, because first, in my late 20s, I was in a survivors group.
Oh,
And
nice.
that's where I started to then be able to go out in the world and
Yeah.
speak. Yeah.
But the fact is, you placed yourself in that
Yes,
position
that's
to
where
be
I
able
learned to
to
reassign the shame.
the,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
reassign the shame and speak. Because at the end of the day, you are killing yourself. Literally, you're killing yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of the L's. Okay?
Yes.
You're not doing yourself any good. And it pains me. It pains Miss Regina because we've been there.
Yes.
We've lived it. And even though we've spoken out and we're speaking publicly, even doing that, the reality is there's still so much work to do.
Yeah.
Coming back to a full circle moment, it doesn't stop because there's other things that's going to happen as you move on this journey. We have reassigned the shame.
Yes.
That was healing,
Yes.
right? Because we spoke about it, got it out. And for me, I thought I was good after that. Ciao. The levels, the layers, all of the varying pieces and parts and how it's showing up. So we're saying this to you because we've been doing this work for quite some time now, collectively, because
Yes.
we've been doing it together.
Yeah.
We've been doing it by ourselves. And we're still in real time having things that we have to address. You heard Miss Regina at 72 said earlier, when it comes on to relationship and letting go and knowing what affection and real love and all of that, she still does not know what that looks like and feels like for her. That's something, you said it, you don't even ever know if you'll ever get to that place.
Yeah.
So imagine, and this is coming from someone that's been doing her work now for over 50 years. There's still struggles attached. Miss Regina, if there's anything coming up for you, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Just do your work and take time to play.
That part. That.
Yeah.
I am trying to unpack that, what that really means.
To practice at playing.
I don't even know
I have to practice
what
to
it
play.
means.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And this is so deep because even hearing and watching my sons play at times, innately at times, I'm goes like, y'all play too much, just calm down, just go do something. And I have to be catching myself like, rest, they're children. They are supposed to play. But I want to say, this is the whole purpose and point of us just not having the conversations, but bringing to these conversations or real life lived experience to help, to empower you to start your own journey. And if you have already started, to be okay with learning and understanding that it's going to take a while. Be open to the journey and the process. Be open to it because there's going to be joys.
Yes.
Along the way. There's
absolutely.
a lot to experience. And now on my journey, I am uncovering how many ways it has affected me, and I still have to unpack this. Yet, the freedom that comes with my saying and releasing it, and the other things that I'm working through and working at, and loving the process of understanding that I can create boundaries.
Yes.
I can say no. Still a work in progress, but I can say no. I don't want to do that. I don't have to place myself in relationships where I feel as if this is why I'm here, to be a sex object to somebody. I have value. I have worth. And these are things that we're learning. I'm in my 40s, Miss Regina is in her 70s, still having to process and learn all of these things and do it different, like learning to play.
Yes.
But the point is, join us on this journey where we have the listen, Defiant Disruptors. If this episode hit your gut, spirit, chest, Good. That means it's time to put silent suffering to rest. If it challenged you, stretched you, or gave you language to what you've been carrying, don't just scroll. Share it with someone who needs to reassign the shame they've been burying. Like, subscribe, leave a review, because around here, we dismantle lies, conquer fears, we speak and renew our minds, because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. We refuse old narratives that keeps us in disguise. See, this is bigger than a podcast. This is a movement. So until next time, shift the mindset, change the narrative, and let's create new norms. Join me as we journey to free and awaken to purpose together. From my heart to yours, Larissa. Real conversations about what healing really looks like. And it differs.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of similarities, but we also have differences. And that's for everybody, not just for Miss Regina, myself, or Candy in her absence. It's a different process for each of us, but it's a process nonetheless, and a beautiful journey that I invite you on. Please, let's get to the place where we're really doing the hard work of healing, uncovering who we really are, reclaiming our identities, and awakening to purpose. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
See you next week.
Yep,
God's
take care,
willing.
everybody.
Peace.
Yes, indeed.
Bye.